So it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're going to start with Hayden giving us a opening prayer and Deb to lead us in the pledge.
Our gracious Father in heaven, we thank you for bringing us together this day as friends and neighbors. Father, we are so grateful for living in this country and particularly in this beautiful county. Father, we ask that you remember this county with moisture that is so needed to relieve the anxiety of your children. Father, we pray that you enter our hearts and our minds. Help us make good decisions for those within Catron County. Bless us with investment and knowledge in coming up with the decisions that we'll be discussing today. We're grateful for you and we pray to you through Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So do I have an approval of the agenda or any update?
Madam Chair, I have two requested changes. If we could please move the executive session to immediately after item 9, presentations and discussions. And under action items, can we table the software contract with Triadic, which is G?
Yes, is that a motion? Have you got a motion for that or just change it?
So would we table it at this point, Pedro?
If it's not ready, you certainly can table it.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's
I'll
a
Do I
second.
have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Approval of minutes. Does anyone have any discussion or do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So we're going to move on to public comment. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The County Commission is not able to act on matters discussed during public comment. Speakers are requested to state their name for the record. Do I have any public comment? Okay. Sir?
Good morning, Audrey, Lester, Hayden, how y'all doing? I'm here to discuss Mingus Lane.
Okay, and what's your name, sir?
Richard Roberts,
Richard Roberts.
yes. I've been a lifetime resident of Glen for many, many moons. And the road has always been a desire to have something done, fixed up, cleaned up, drainage program at least. I bought 5 homes on Mingus Lane about 4 years ago. And started to remodel, rebuild, and I got every one of them up in running conditions. But there's a drainage problem that needs to be concerned. And since the county did adopt the road 2 years ago, I believe, so now it's your all's responsibility. At the top of Mingus Lane, where it comes off Old Forest Road, is very steep. There's not enough room, the way it's been built, for 2 vehicles to pass going up and down. So one of them has to stop, back down, and go back and forth. But another thing is the parking lots. The parking lots are dirt. Sometimes when it rains, it gets muddy. And I hate to see some of these beautiful women have to walk up through the parking lot and get their feet wet and muddy. So that's another thing that needs to be taken into consideration. And road, we have certain people like this gentleman right here that goes up and down through the road patching potholes because the county doesn't do it. There's just too many potholes in the road to have to be one person do it. And the drainage, I have to make sure the drainage is not coming into my property because 2 of my homes have set up on Mingus Lane. So I keep a long berm along the road to ensure the water goes down and stays on the road on Mingus Lane, which goes down to somebody else's property and floods there. I would appreciate us try to work together and get the road rebuilt and drainage plan established so it's better for everybody, and especially the AD ramps down at the community center and the library. They're not up to code because you have to go through gravel to get to AD ramps. You know, so I'm gonna be old enough one of these days, so I'm gonna use them. So, you know, I'd appreciate something done. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Next.
Me? All right. I've got a letter for you all that I guess I can submit for the records. I don't know.
Yeah, can you state your name?
Yes, I'm Joanne Blount, and I live on Mingus Lane. I've lived there 30 years. I'll just read my letter. Better. My name's Joanne Blount. I've had the privilege of living at 16 Mingus Lane in Glenwood, New Mexico for the past 30 years with my husband, Larry Blount. She's right there. A retired New Mexico State police officer. We raised our family here and are deeply invested in this community. I oppose the current Mingus Lane roadway and drainage project because it fails to adequately engage residents and property owners. If the process had included meaningful consultation and stayed within the roadway's historic boundaries, I would likely support resurfacing. The proposal is unnecessary and out of scale for our rural community and does not address actual needs. First, the proposed cost is excessive. I've got it at $978,182 for a 940-foot road, which exceeds $1,000 per linear foot and is hard to justify given the road's limited use. Mingus Lane has low traffic, mainly occasional deliveries, library visitors, and residents. Traffic only increases briefly during special events, and current road sharing works well. Widening would increase speeds and reduce caution. Pedestrian use is also minimal. The design includes more sidewalks, curbs, and gutters than the actual roadway exists. Based on available diagrams, approximately 2,600 feet of sidewalks, curbing, and guttering are proposed, along with 270 feet of ADA required handrails. These features are not desired on this street. It's my understanding that sidewalks are being used to justify widening the roadway beyond its historic boundary, and that they are being constructed to support vehicle weight. This raises concerns about future restrictions such as no parking zones and fundamentally alters the character of the area. The existing drainage system of ditches and culverts is functional. There have been no significant failures, including during the 2013 precipitation event that severely impacted US Highway 180. The current proposal would remove these natural systems along with vegetation that slows water flow and replaces them with shallow concrete gutters and curbing. The effectiveness of the new system is uncertain, and there's no clarity on who would be responsible if it fails. The project ability of our personal property. The planned construction of sidewalks and handrails adjacent to our 130-foot stone retaining wall could result in physical damage during both the construction and if vehicles collide with the wall
That's 3
using
minutes.
the new roadway layout. This could endanger our home's structural integrity and leave us facing costly repairs. The proposal does not specify who would bear responsibility for these risks or provide mitigation measures for a scenario like that. Beyond immediate concerns, this project could result in prolonged loss of mature vegetation, increasing the risk of erosion and fire hazards. The significant changes to drainage and landscaping could permanently alter the area's visual character. Poorly defined long-term maintenance responsibilities might result in higher costs and obligations for local residents, potentially leading to higher property taxes, and if the upkeep is more expensive than is anticipated. Ultimately, residents face certain but potentially certain consequences that the project's designers will not be responsible for. For these reasons, I oppose the current proposal, and I ask that you do too.
Thank you. So that
Thank
was
you.
3 minutes. Can I have a copy of
Yes,
that?
I do. I have copies for
Okay, thank you.
you.
Yeah, one for us.
Oh, there you go. Go for each of you all. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have anybody else? Sir? Or ma'am?
Go ahead, go ahead. No.
Go ahead, ma'am. It's okay. Go ahead and he can be next. We're good. Ladies first.
Well, actually, my name is Gwen Holman. I live at the end of Mendes Lane at 27. I am not a property owner. My cousin Tom is the property, my cousin Tom and my cousin Susan Edwards are the property owners. I do have a letter authorizing me to speak for him because he is not well and cannot attend the meeting. Basically, I think Joanne covered everything that I had to say very efficiently. We did on the last meeting, which I called kind of impromptu when they came to get our signature for the easement and realized the extent of the work that was going to be done. We did participate in a meeting which was, I don't believe the Browns were there because they were out of town, but this would have been, I'm thinking it was 21 or 22. That's how long this has been in process. And we were at a meeting where the current residents who were involved attended. At that time, Wayne was not a resident, wasn't a property owner. Laura Haney, who I gave you the other letter, she was not. And at any rate, so they were not participant in it and had no knowledge of what was going to happen. What we discussed at that time was repaving the road. Just repaving the road. I don't know who or when. There was gravel put there isn't pavement there. And there was gravel put all over it, which just caused total havoc. And that's what started this. And so we were all in total agreement. Oh yeah, if you're just going to repave the existing road, that is wonderful. And that's the last we heard of it. We have had no other meetings whatsoever. There's been no involvement with any of the residents since that first meeting. And so they come to have us sign this easement, and I just said casually, because, they have surveyed it at least twice, possibly 3 times. Now, I don't know why they need to keep resurveying it. I know that costs money. But at any rate, Lou came over to get my cousin's signature on the easement because we're where the final gully is going to be that channels down to the big one that channels down to the creek. And we had no problem with this. And then I just said, y'all aren't putting in curbs, are you? Because one of the surveyors had mentioned that to Laura Haney. You got her letter. She sent it to Hayden. If not, I have it on my phone. She is not here because she is in Tempe taking care of her elderly mother and could not be here on such short
It's
notice.
3 minutes, Madam Chair.
Did I miss my time?
Your time's up, but
Okay.
thank you.
All right, my point being, we did not agree to concrete curbs or sidewalks. All we wanted was the pre-existing road to be repaved.
All right, thank you.
My name is Tom Villa. I really do love living in Glenwood. We're very great neighbors. The road is falling apart. If it wasn't for Wayne, we would have lots of problems. He's the one that maintains the road. The highway is up here, and Gwen lives over here. I live down here. All the water comes to the property where I live. I'm here speaking with Albert for Albert too because he can't make it, but he's the owner. But he already signed the easement for it. And we're not talking about sidewalks or anything anymore. We're just talking about paving the road now and the concrete that comes in 4 feet from the property to keep the water from going underneath and breaking up the road here like it is now. If we don't do that, we'll have the same problem in a few years, even if we just pave. But we do need the road done, and potholes are a pain, but when you walk it on, they're horrible. And like I said, it's only paving and the concrete in the side to keep the road in, and the sidewalk is already out. The speed bump, I believe, is out too, but I think we need it because we do have kids who go to the library all the time, and I hate to see anyone get hurt. But the road is needed, and it's messy. It's, you know, people drive on it, people fly down the road sometimes, and makes a lot of dirt. But like I said, I'm the one when it's downpouring, I have to be in front of the house with a shovel to keep the water from the property. The bunkhouse should be sitting like this, but it's going like this because the water from the street and all the water comes in towards the front of it and it's seeping down. And it would make no sense to bring it back up if we're just going to continue doing it. But the road is desperately needed, and you do need the concrete, just the strip. And we're not talking sidewalks or anything anymore. That's, they said, only if there's money left, and I doubt that very much. But the road is desperately needed, and I thank Wayne so much because he does maintain our road, and we would be in deep trouble if he didn't do it. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Yes, I like to say.
Okay.
I'm Larry Blount. This seems to have wound up being a total mismanagement. It's a different county department. Do not have our act together. They could have come to every resident on that street and talked to us. But I don't know. So, what's fixing to come up is a large amount of inconvenience for people that live on that street. If you come in there and do all the stuff this so-called planning and engineering people have got in mind, a lot of money, the time will be horrendous, all the inconveniences to the people on this street are not necessary. Now, all of a sudden, this little road somehow starts to be coming under the county auspice. This is not a county road. It is not supposed to be maintained by the county. Things have happened through the years, but when you call it the county offices, and nobody knows that the county is taking this road over, we're gonna spend our money, our time. This whole thing with the Colonias needs to be totally re-looked at. Save our money, keep our small town flair intact. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. Do I have anyone else?
Well, I got a couple of questions since I haven't been here too long.
So,
but
so you have to state your name for the record and
Wayne Zott.
this, like, we can't answer questions.
Oh.
But you're welcome to speak for 3 minutes.
Well, I was told that the road is a private road.
Can you state your name?
Wayne Zott, Z-A-K.
Okay.
So I'm 20 members. Anyhow, I've been told that it's like a private road and the county never did anything to it. And now all of a sudden it's the county. I'm more worried about like who's going to take care of it in the future. When we get big downpours and that, the water, there's a block wall, brick wall behind my house that diverts the water and it runs like a foot deep around it. And I'm worried about where it comes out and hits where the road is, that it's going to wash out whatever they do. I don't think they took concerns enough in designing this that I think it's gonna make more problems, or, you know, and is the county gonna fix it when it goes bad? You know, I'm just worried about the future and who, because nobody claimed it so far to take care of it. Now all of a sudden it's a county road and that. I was just wondering what, you know, how come that never was before, supposedly? And I was just, you know, and I'm just worried about who's gonna take care of it in the future and where that money's gonna come from. You know, is it, get a guarantee from the county that they're gonna, if it washes out, they're gonna do something, or not really? So, that's about all I have to say about it, you know.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else have public comment? Okay, so moving out of public comment, we're gonna go into the public hearing, the emergency ordinance 02-2026 prohibiting open burning in Catherine County. Make a motion.
Motion to go into public hearing.
Do I have a motion to go into public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a
I'll second
second?
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are now discussing the ordinance on prohibiting open burning in Catherine County.
Madam Chair, if I might just do a quick introduction to the ordinance for the.
Sure.
So this is a proposed emergency ordinance that would ban open burning until such time as conditions change, and then it would be repealed. Because it's an emergency ordinance, generally an ordinance requires publication, and then if it's adopted, it goes into effect 30 days later. Because if this board determines this is an emergency, then it would go into effect immediately, and no publication prior to is required. That said, administration did publish this prior to this meeting for as long as well, longer than the law would normally require, even for a regular ordinance in both the newspaper and online, is my understanding. But again, this ordinance does completely ban open burning. There are different types of ordinances that do this. Some of them allow such kind of open burning if there's a permit process, you know, with the fire chief or something like that. This does not have that. That doesn't mean you couldn't add it, but as it's written, it is just a strict prohibition on open burning. And I believe the county in the past has done warnings rather than an ordinance, but this would have the effect of law with a penalty of $300 fine and up to 90 days in jail. So with that, I think it'd be appropriate to hear from the public unless you have questions for me.
Okay.
And certainly and as we did with the last ordinance, it will be important to hear the reasons for this on the record that's proposed, certainly from the fire service, to make the determination, so you can make the determination of whether it's truly needed and whether it's truly an emergency.
Okay. All right. So I guess where we should start is with any of our chiefs or people that have questions on this. Larry, I know you.
Yes, ma'am. Larry Moniz from Dabble Fire District up there. Last month I did give testimony to the fact that we have a severe problem in this county, severe critical fire danger issue. Not only in District 30 up in the Dabble Horse Mountain area, but it's throughout the entire county. I was not prepared to give the same testimony twice in 2 months. I can give you the highlights and recap it if you'd like. For all the same reasons that are on record now for that particular fire district are going to be valid for the entire county. Since then, we have had a pre-season wildfire cooperators meeting where we got to hear from other fire agencies and a meteorologist that the Forest uses all the time for the Forest Service, uses all the time for their fire weather predictions and that sort of stuff. We are in worse than a severe drought in this county. The entire county is in severe drought, has been for some time, with an extreme drought across the top end, basically the Highway 60 corridor from almost the state line to the county line on the east side. The predictions are for that drought to persist. The northeast part of the state, at least 2 weeks ago, was not in a drought, but they intend for that to develop, which means that with our southwest normal flows coming across the rest of the state, bringing the drought to the northeast side, it's going to deepen our drought in our area, in our county. We have been confirmed to be at 131 out of 131 of the worst years in this county. What that means is they keep records for the type of information they need to determine critical fire weather. They've kept those records for 131 years. We are at the worst year of those 131 years, driest and warmest. Not only does it mean that this year is the worst, which is unprecedented in our county, this is coming after a cumulative effect of drought for the last few years. So we have extreme low fuel moistures in these areas in our trees, our vegetation. The fire danger is critical. The meteorologists talked about the ERC, the energy release component, being higher than we would normally expect. We basically need a spark and we have a problem. Just the drought alone and the statistics alone put us in great danger. Then we got that pesky little bug. This decimated trees, piñons, they're spreading into, from what I understand, junipers and other areas. I don't know if they do that. But we're seeing an awful lot of die-off. A month ago when I was here and presented my case, I gave you pictures of the die-off in areas of brown trees surrounding homes through several subdivisions. That's worsened. Without exaggeration, if I drive up from the south end on Highway 12 and go up to Dowell once a week, I can see it continuing to worsen. That tree line of dead trees is coming out towards the highway and surrounding more places. Should we get something that causes a problem or a fire in through there, we're really not going to have much of a chance to stop it. We're going to have an aerial fire. It's going to need aircraft. From the ground, we're not going to be able to take care of it and mitigate that. We're going to be relying on people like the Forest Service, BLM, and State Forestry to help us out considerably, which they always do. And believe me, nobody's happier to see them roll in than I am. The staffing expected this year for BLM out of the Socorro district is one Type 6 engine for their entire district, which does not include just Socorro. It's Catherine, Grant. There's several counties around that they respond to. State Forestry is expecting to have 3 engines and 1 hand crew. There's documentation that just came out in an email the other day where they put out an advisory for southern New Mexico and east southern Arizona being all in the same situation. If anything pops in any of those areas, we're going to have a huge drawdown on resources. And as willing and as able as these people are to come help us and do what we have to do, they just may not be available right away. There is a representative from the Forest Service here. If you'd like to talk to him, I'd gladly give the floor to him on that sort of stuff. And we have to keep in mind that we're asking for a temporary burn ban. This is not permanent. 3-4 months. Hopefully we get monsoons this year. The prediction is for somewhat of a normal one. We hope. That was a prediction last year too, but we didn't get that, nor did we even get a winter this year. Snowpack is already pretty much gone, pretty much statewide from what people I've talked to, which means we don't have that snowpack that normally lasts into May, which continues to give us that precipitation, or that, at least that wetness that soaks into the vegetation and soil. Things are extremely dry. Other counties are going into burn bans from what I understand. Stage 1 restrictions will be enforced, I believe the 23rd. And the word I got from BLM in the state is they intend to follow the Forest Service's lead on that. So we're going to be looking at stage 1 a whole lot sooner than we normally do. We're already looking at about 80-degree weather or so starting today for a while. It's March. This isn't May. While I do know that I've had a lot of people stop by the station and visit with me, and they're extremely happy that we do have a burn ban in our county. I've had many more people in favor of it than against it, There's always gonna be people against taking away their rights to burn, but that doesn't give them the right to burn other people's property and put lives in danger and residences. We're gonna have extreme trouble up there with any kind of fire. It may not mitigate all types of fire ignition sources, but by allowing people to start a fire on purpose, we lost 2 of them last year from people that did that in our neighborhoods, spread from one subdivision to another. One of them was in January and it spread to 8.5 acres in the snow. Stuff was drying up underneath. So we do have a huge problem, but I believe we do need to do something at the county level to at least do the best we can to stop the devastation from happening. Some catastrophe. I have had people reach out to me, and I think the 24-hour period, I had sent an email to a couple of people. I got 27 people in favor of the countywide burn ban in less than 24 hours. Are there any questions I can answer for you? I'm sure there's a ton more I could go through. I don't have presentation material, as I was not expected to do this again. I do have one fire district in particular that I am speaking for, because the fire chief is out of town, and that is the Apache Creek Fire District. Apache Creek, Roosevelt, and Aragon. He's in extreme favor of a burn ban. We had a chiefs meeting on the 10th with all of the county fire district chiefs. It was unanimous that they all believe we need a burn ban. The situation is critical. We're volunteers out there. I think the average age in the county of volunteers is 60 to 65. If we get a fire in the Dattle area where the Dattle station rolls, that's my station, one of them. The average age of the people rolling out of there is going to be 71 years old, people. 71 years of age. They're going to fight a fire for a little while, then they're going to need help. We need help from everybody we can get to do this. So we have had, and there has been talk around the county of a couple of districts picking up a couple of people in their 20s. That's wonderful. That brings the average age down dramatically, but it doesn't mean that those people are available. They may be working out of town, family issues, something of that nature. They're not there. That's still going to put our average age right back up to a whole big number we don't like. And that's not a lot of people. By the way, we need more volunteers. Any of y'all interested? Let me know. I can get you applications for any county you want. Any questions or anything else I can help you with?
I don't. I appreciate you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
I know Randall's hiding back there. What do you have to say?
I was gonna, part of it was gonna be for my presentation, but I can speak for it now. So again, Randall Travis, District Manager with Kamala Range District. As Chief mentioned, the Gila National Forest will be going into stage 1 fire restrictions March 23rd. I believe the order will be, or the closure order will be signed today, and then we'll start putting out the news, and it will be enforced on March 23rd on Monday. Stage 2, we're looking at mid-April, pending storms. This last little storm kind of set it back just a little bit, but we are kind of monitoring soil moisture and live fuel moistures as well. So it could be sooner, it could be later. With this heat that's coming up that is he talking about, it could be sooner. So, and then hopefully we don't get into stage 3 and stage 4. Stage 3 is partial closures. Stage 4 is full forest closure. So hopefully we don't get to that point. He mentioned also a little bit about the mortality, tree mortality. I've got some figures here. We had an aerial flight and a report done. Just for the Gila National Forest, there's 135,437 acres, and I can send you guys the report. The Wilderness Ranger District is the highest in acres. Reserve is number 2. Black Range is number 3. Silver City is number 4. Tomado's number 5. Now, I don't mind being last in this situation because that just means I got less centuries, but we're seeing it on a daily basis too, where more and more trees. I mean, that is a report from February 3rd, and I can tell you that the acreage is probably higher at this point now.
So what are they estimating that that's a percentage of on dead trees? Do you know?
Not sure I understand. What do you mean?
Like Like, are we looking at a quarter of the tree?
forest,
Yeah,
kind of,
like what percentage would that be?
I'd have to calculate it out what our total is. I mean, we're 1.3 million acres, or, you know, it's the Gila is the total. But we're seeing it more and more. I mean, we're just barely seeing, and the drought brought it on. The bugs are actually attacking the trees. The trees don't have the sap to be able to push out the bug because they don't have enough moisture within them. So we have trees with the bugs living in them right now that are green that we don't know that are dying already.
Right.
And I'm gonna say that this number is gonna double easily to about 300,000 acres before we see any moisture. Our fire prediction service that did come and talk to the counties at our cooperators meeting, again, talked about we are in the worst year of 131 years. There were kind of, you know, they talked about El Nino and that we're going to the neutral stage. They say that we have an equal chance of monsoons coming at the normal time. Well, for Catherine County, that's about usually 4th of July or the Lunar Rodeo. We always get rain for the Lunar Rodeo. Definitely get some mud there, so. I talked to a cohort, which you guys know very well, Amanda Gert, who was the ranger here at Reserve. She has 2 fires in Nebraska, or 1 fire in Nebraska, 1 fire in South Dakota right now. Nebraska has the largest fire they've ever had in their history right now, at this point. We're talking Nebraska and South Dakota, which should have snow. And she's already, what is this, March 18th, and she's already in the fire season. So that just kind of tells you where about even the nation is at this point. I'm gonna say this, the western from about the Midwest to the west is in severe drought, which we all know that as well. Temperatures this week are supposed to, I was just reading a report this morning, Phoenix, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and believe it or not, Flagstaff will have the highest temperatures they've had all year.
Is there any special action being taken to mechanically harvest those dead trees, get them out of the forest?
There's so many that we're not even sure how we're going to deal with all.
Action could be taken on all the areas that we've mechanically harvested in the past where there's roads and access, get those trees out of there.
If we had an industry and we had the people and
We do. That are craving to get orders for release to go cut the logs.
From what we're hearing is they don't want the dead trees though. So they want the live.
Okay,
Which,
that's not what I'm hearing.
that's, yeah, cause we're, like I said, we're trying to move on as fast, but there's so much of it that and like I said, Wilderness is the #1 district that's got it. We're not gonna be able to get to a lot of those areas.
Yeah.
As you guys can see, the mid slopes and the southern aspects of these mountains are brown and trees dying daily. I wish we could just handle them and take care of them all, but I think this is beyond. But we've always said Mother Nature will clean house and something.
Yeah, let 'em burn.
And I think she's getting after it.
All right.
So, yeah, that's just more of where we're at, of this cooperative meetings that we have within Benton County. We work with VFWs, or the volunteer fire departments, VFDs, and then, BLM, Forest Service, state, counties, everything with, we had probably one of the largest, participations this last meeting. It was a really good meeting, I thought, so. We're all just waiting with bated breath. But that is a little more information for your guys' emergency ordinance.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Patty?
Yeah, I'm Patty Sheehan, and I live just north of Camado in Starfire subdivision, and we are for this ban. We are seeing more and more dead trees. Every time we go out and walk our property, we find another group, and it's not just one here or one there, it's groves of them, and they're full of bugs. We've tried cutting them, and they're so full, it's like we don't want them anywhere near the house, just leave them where they're at. And every time we go out, it's just worse and worse, and there's so many people who haven't mitigated around their properties or around their houses, that if it does start, anywhere southwest of us, it's just gonna come raging through. And there's just not enough, like the fire department said, there's not enough people. And there's just not enough, it'll just devastate the county if somebody does that. And I will wanna say that even just cutting wood is a danger. If you're cutting juniper, the sparks are flying everywhere. We don't cut wood if we don't have water on hand, always, just because of that danger. So this will help, but there's still gonna be issues. But we support it completely.
Thank you.
Could I say one more thing?
Sure.
She reminded me of something. In this cooperative meeting, Socorro Electric and some few other power companies were there as well. They have pinpointed areas in the county that are in severe drought where they're concerned about their lines. So what they've decided to do to eliminate sparks is go to a one-shot on their line. They normally go to a four-shot. If you're not familiar with what that is, if you've ever seen your power bump 2 or 3 times come back on, it's trying to reset that circuit 2 or 3 or 4 times. Every time it does, it shoots sparks out everywhere. They are mitigating that, and they're gonna try and do it on red flag days for sure, which is a higher fire danger time. And other windy areas, they're gonna go to a one-shot. As soon as something falls that line, it's gonna go. So they're trying to mitigate sparks, because they have also identified many of these areas where all it's gonna take is one little spark. And we're gonna get off to the races.
Anyone else?
I'd like to say something. Looks to me like that's putting a strain on Firewise, you know. He doesn't have brush pits and get out hauling at 100 miles or so. I think that the county needs to develop more brush pits for Firewise. Because all these dead trees is just gonna keep going.
And I think Scott is able to speak on that. He's doing a collaboration with BLM for the North County area.
Yeah, they're working on it. Larry looked with BLM at the one that they're looking at up in Dattle, but they're gonna find somewhere else now because there was houses and stuff around. And then, hopefully where he said there was property, there is, cause it's closer to the subdivisions.
Isn't BLM's working with us?
Yeah, they're doing good. Limo Baca is his name. He's doing good. He's looking in Dattle. He's trying to find something in Pie Town. And then he's even talking about to take some of the burden off of Randall. There's some BLM down there by Camava Lake that we might use too. But until it gets there, the hauls are long. So, and I will be there when I get there. There's only one of me. Your husband texted me this morning. So, but yeah, we're working, but anything we can do, I mean, Randall asked us to take a dozer in. We made the pit bigger at Camava Lake, spent 3 days on a dozer making it bigger. Told BLM if we have to clear something, we'll clear something for them. So.
Thank you.
So, oh, Becky.
My question is probably gonna be more towards legal. First of all, I mean, I'm for the ban, because I think it needs to happen, I'm for it. If it does pass and it's a county ban, I live in the village, how does that affect the village? Is it separate, or does the county override the village?
The village is a separate legal entity, so it does not affect the village. The village, it has to do their own.
And that's a shame, because we've got people burning, and my property has been on fire twice. So, okay, that was just my question.
So, for you guys, I attended the fire chiefs meeting last week, and every one of them was in support of it. Lots of good information. I've been watching around the different counties of the state, and a lot of people are looking at it. Some counties are going into it. I've got the 27 letters of support for this ban. I've talked to a few constituents. There's a few that are questioning it, and they don't like the government outreach, and I don't like a lot of government outreach. However, we have to look at our volunteer age of who's actually getting called to these fires. A lot of times there'll be initial attack, and if we don't do this, if we don't put this fire ban in effect, and it's not going to be permanent, when we get the moisture, I feel like it'll get lifted. But if we don't do it, and let's just say somebody starts something in one of those subdivisions where there's one way in and one way out, and we lose houses, lives, whatever, we're gonna wish, what could we have done better? And so, I've talked to the sheriff about him having enough personnel to enforce it. He said he's on board, he'll do it. And so I'm for the ban, and I don't know how my fellow commissioners feel, but I think that it's a must. I think that we're not gonna make everybody happy, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So, Buster, Hayden, what are your thoughts?
Oh, no, considering the circumstances and stuff, I'm in favor, but, yeah, well.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider here, particularly the rural area that we live in, and those that do burn on their private property, and you know, they have a history of being very careful and dragging trash into a middle of an arena, have water nearby, tractors nearby. To tell those folks that are being very careful that they can no longer burn, that's one thing that I'm considering also. It's private property is purchased by people so they can take care of it. And I'm listening very carefully to everyone in this regard.
If I could speak to that point. So I have had several phone calls. We've only had a few slash pile burns this year since January. I'm getting phone calls every time somebody torches something. They're scared to death. But we get people torching at the bottom of the slope on a windy day, and they think they can contain it. Last year, 3 of them were lost, just in my district alone. So we don't necessarily have everybody using what we could hopefully think is around common sense anymore. And they're endangering other people's properties, residences, livelihoods, and maybe their lives. When we get something big like this, keep in mind that you do have an aged firefighting force that's gonna go out there and do everything they can to suppress. And you may be surprised that my first order won't be to suppress the fire. It will be to evacuate the neighborhood. I'm more concerned with the preservation and protection of life. So that's my biggest concern. One way in and out of all these subdivisions that we have, good luck. And that panic ensues.
And the other big picture, and I think Randall will know a little bit of this too, but we're gonna have lots of forest fires, we're gonna have lots of, either way around it, we're gonna have probably a pretty rough fire season. And so the staffing, whether it's the slurry planes, the engines, just the overall personnel of getting to these fires is gonna be limited this year because they're gonna be everywhere. And it's not just Catherine County, not just New Mexico, it's the whole western states. And so we have to think about that too. If one does get away, are we gonna even have the resources to get on it, because they're gonna be widespread this year.
We've already experienced our spring winds that they are anticipating will continue 20, 30, gust to 40 and 50 up north at least. All you can do is get out of the way.
And can, Adrian, if we do this ban, can something be put in there to where, like, let's just say for some reason in May, we got a couple inches of rain where it was super wet, can we lift the ban?
Absolutely, it's set, it's designed to either be lifted by this board or by the county manager if we don't have a meeting, if the conditions improve.
All right, so does anyone have anything else to add to this? No? Okay, so what do we do from here?
At this point, we would go back, you would move out of public hearing. I think it's one thing we can actually discuss really quick. The manager brought up, as far as enforcement goes, I had drafted it where the fire chief was also able to enforce, but there's not a general fire chief. Would you like it just to be exclusively the sheriff's office, or would you like fire chiefs to be able to, enforce it? It's up to you.
Fire
You
chiefs
can hear
can.
from
I
me
have
again.
a fire chief
Not
here.
fire chiefs.
Not
We
fire.
don't have enforcement capabilities, we don't have enforcement rights, but any law enforcement officers will be defined. Not only sheriff's department.
So
but
whether
any
it's Forest Service
Forest
or
Service,
US
state police, BLM rangers, anybody that has law enforcement capability is what we would want to use.
I'll make the change to, if the commission is generally in agreement, I'll make the change where it's just the sheriff's office and other qualified agencies.
Okay. So with all that, nothing more, let's move out of public hearing. Do I have a motion?
A motion.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're gonna move into department and agency reports, so commissioner activities report.
Want me to go first?
Go.
So just to briefly, this last month activity, as far as District 1 is concerned, we basically are focused on an infrastructure development in Camado. There was a meeting with the water board there. Patty attended, our county manager Deborah Muller and myself also attended. And we're looking to secure utility access, mainly water, from the town of Quemado for the community center. And so that meeting went well. We discussed basically the cost and that would be involved, and also the projected usage and stuff of the community center, and we're hoping to get that community center up running where it will be a financial draw for the